Japan has set a world record. More than 100,000 people are living above the age of 100. This number, compared to 1965 when the number was only 153, has increased in exponential standards. When you compare this with a country like United States of America, which has a population of 2.6 times that of Japan, you can see that America has only half the number of centenarians as that of Japan. Now, what makes the people of Japan live long, and what is the cultural significance behind it, and what is happening in Japan? Hi guys, in this video let's uncover the secrets where Japan was known for its neon light cities only. Now it is known for people with grey hair living for over 100. Let's dive deep into this video. One of the main reasons the Japanese people are living long is the respect they get from their society. Imagine having a holiday dedicated exclusively for your grandparents. That happens in Japan. Every third Monday of September, the nation pauses. There is a national holiday for respecting your grandparents. Schools close, offices close, kids go and give gifts to their grandparents. All families go and visit their mother's father. Also, those who cross 100, the Prime Minister of Japan gives them a silver cup and a letter. This is just a significance to tell them that just because you are aged, you are not a burden to the society. In fact, you are the pride of the society. Also, a lot of studies have shown that elderly people who are respected and they are given love, what happens is their stress hormones reduce, their cortisol level reduces, which actually increases their longevity. This is one of the main reasons why people in Japan are living long, because they are loved and respected in the society and the nation honors them. Feeling appreciated is the cornerstone of life. Then the sense of purpose is the pillar of life. Now let's come to one of the main reasons of Japanese people longevity. There is a sense of purpose. In Japan, you will see a lot of people at the age of 80 or 90 working very hard. That is, they will be doing some calligraphy, they'll be driving taxis, they will be working in the garden. See, they have a sense of purpose. They find their sense of purpose and they start working towards it. What happens is they keep their mind and body active, which keeps them away from all the diseases which an elderly population can give them. See, a study from the Kyushu University where they followed up more than 2,085-year-old people for more than 7 years. What they found out that the people who have a sense of purpose, that is, they are working towards something even at the age of 80 or 90, have half the risk of dying than the people who don't have a sense of purpose. Imagine having a 50% reduction in the risk of death just because you are having a purpose and a reason to live. Now the question comes is, why don't we apply this in our daily lives? See, in other world and other parts of the world, we can see that the average age of retirement is 65 years, and after that we are sitting idle. Of course, we have to rest in our old age. But what happens is, when you have a sense of purpose, your body stays active, your mind stays active, and that will only be a stimulant for you to live more and live long. How does that happen? First, you find out what you need. Second, you find out what the world needs. The third thing you find out is what are you good at. And the fourth thing is, how will you get paid to it? You draw 4 circles, and at the point where this intersect, that is, this is your purpose and you have to go towards it. You don't have to think about how much it is going to pay for you. It is just a sense of purpose that is going to drive you from bed every day, and how it will help you going to work, and that is going to keep you healthy. Now coming to the secret hack, which is the most important reason why the Japanese people are living long, is their diet. They follow a concept which is known as the Hara Hachi Bu, meaning that you eat only up to your 8 parts full or 80% full. This isn't some intrinsic calorie restriction program. This is an intuitive biohack mechanism which has passed down through their generations. So what happens is, when they are served a plate full of food, they eat only up to their 80% full to avoid the full uncomfortable feel when you have heavy meals. What happens when you do this over a period of time is, it stimulates a mechanism in your body called as autophagy, which is an intuitive process in your body which kills the aging cell and increases the regeneration process, and that only will add to the longevity of life. Many scientists have found out that the Japanese people eat on an average 300 calories less than the American people a day. On paper, 300 calories is not a big thing. But when you compound it over 40 years, what happens is, they are saying that it will add to you a area of about 6 years in your life when you follow this type of Hara Hachi Bu mechanism, where you're going to eat until you're 80% full only. So how are you going to apply it in your life? So what you can do is, you don't need to see the calorie of each food you're eating. You take the food and you eat it only up to you are 80% full. That will avoid the full bloating feel you get when you eat large quantities of food. This will help you to eat better, sleep better, be more active, stimulate the autophagy mechanism in your body, and it will help you to live longer. Now, building on this concept of Harabuchi, let's include another genius biohack mechanism which the Japanese people follow, which is the small plate mechanism. If you see the plates in Japan, they are not more than 8 inches long, meaning that they cannot take a large quantities of food on this plate because the size of the plate is small. Are they eating less? Seeing this 8-inch plates? No, they have different varieties of food on this plate. Any average diet in Japan will have 5 to 7 different varieties of food. They will have some amount of grilled fish, veggies, miso, and some rice also. This will look as though you're eating large amount of food, and it will convince your brain also that you're eating so much food when you have actually restricted your diet, because the plate is small and you're taking only small quantities of different varieties. This is one of the genius biohack mechanisms which the Japanese have mastered. Also, a study by Nagoya University showed that people who eat through these small plates have 18% lesser calorie intake on an everyday basis compared to people who eat in large plates. That is, you're consuming 1/5 less calories than the people who eat in the large plates. This will definitely convince your brain that you are eating different varieties of food, but it is only less quantity of different varieties of food, and that will lead to a calorie restriction which will help you live healthier. This is one of the most genius mechanisms which the Japanese have mastered, which we should follow in our everyday life. Now, when we look into the diet of these Japanese centenarians, what they have is, they have a unique combination of seaweeds, plant-based food, lean fish fillet, small portion of meat, tofu, and rice. What happens is, this diet does not contain a lot of bad fats, but it is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for the body, and a whole lot of polynutrients. Now, what is happening is, when you consume such type of food, your body's ability to fight inflammation, which is one of the reasons for aging, will increase, and that will lead to the longevity. Take for example the Okinawans. These Okinawans are part of the Japanese who used to have a lot of sweet potato in their diet, and that sweet potato contains a compound called anthocyanins, which is present in blueberries also. This anthocyanin is very important to fight cellular stress. This is one of the main reasons, if you can see, in Okinawan population, the number of centenarians are actually more. Am I telling you to shift to plant-based diet and shift to vegan overnight? No. I'm just telling you, rearrange your plate. Every day when you eat, 60% must be plant-based food, 30% can include a lean fish fillet, and 10% must include rice. This is the combination which is actually making most of the Japanese cross the year 100 in their lives. If what they eat is making them live longer, imagine what they are drinking is also making them live longer. The Japanese king of drinks is the green tea. Be it matcha or sencha, everything is a concept of this green tea only. What does green tea do? It neutralizes the free radicals in your body. These free radicals are the ones which will destroy your cells and it will accelerate aging. But by neutralizing these free radicals, these green tea have added longevity of life. There is also proof for this. In 2022, a meta-analysis of over 40 studies have shown that this green tea, drinking 1 cup per day, can increase your lifetime by more than 10%. So this is one of the other reasons why the Japanese people are living long, because they drink any product which is based on this green tea. If eating healthy is improving their life longevity, then their movement patterns are also increasing their longevity. You can see the Japanese centenarians, they never run marathons, they don't engage themselves in powerful gym sessions, but they incorporate movement in every aspect of their life. They are very active, they walk a lot, they do gardening, which will keep their mind and body intact and flexible even when they reach the age of 90. The government is also helping them. There is a radio show called as the Radio Tai Show, which is a 5-minute calisthenic program which is aired every day at 6:30 a.m. Imagine a bunch of 90-year-old people exercising in a garden along with school children as well as office goers. This is actually a movement which has encouraged the Japanese people to incorporate movement into their life such that they can be very flexible, also be active at a very old age. A study has also shown that following this radio Taisho show, many elderly people have a fall rate of less than 25% than the people who don't follow this radio Taisho show. That is, falling from the floor is a very common problem in the elderly population. That is, they can just slip and fall and their bones will be brittle and it will break. But they have found out that those who are exercising regularly and they are incorporating movement into their life, the risk of fall has reduced by more than 25%, and that they are very active. This is something we need to incorporate in our life also. That is, you don't need to set timers, you don't need to see step counters. You just start becoming more active. Walk a lot, exercise a lot, and also make sure that you can do these activities in a clear mind and keep your body very good, such that you can be just as active as the Japanese people in their 90s are, even at the age of 90 when you reach. A lot of studies have shown that loneliness is more dangerous than high cholesterol. Loneliness is one of the main reason for people for not living long, because they lose their purpose to live, thinking that they are very lonely, there is no purpose for them, they are not contributing anything to the society. Japanese people have an antidote for it. They have an organization which is called as the Chonikai. This Chonikai organization will regularly organize street cleanup activities. They will organize neighborhood meets where they can sit and talk over tea. What happens is, when these old people go there and talk to everyone, they engage themselves in this street cleanup activities and all, that gives them their sense of purpose and also a fulfillment that you are doing something for the society. This will indirectly help them to live longer. Also, a study has found out that people who are actively involved in this Chonikai have a dementia rate less than 30% than the people who don't involve themselves in this Chonikai. So what we can do is incorporate this into our everyday life. That is, we should not be lonely. Every time you feel lonely, make sure you contact anybody you love, you go meet them, create a sense of purpose for you. That is, you go out, engage yourself in social activities, meet a lot of people. That will only indirectly increase your purpose of living, and that will add longevity to your life. Japan's commitment to longevity is much more than what we see on paper. See, in Japan, they have a lot of screening programs where they detect every disease very early, and this comes at an absolutely free cost. Now think of eating healthy, you are moving more, your government is also helping you by giving you a lot of government programs where you have screening for your entire body free and you can catch your diseases early. This powerful combination is helping the people of Japan live very long. One other interesting feature I found out was that 88% of the people over 100 years is women. This comes from the traditional aspect of Japan from the post-World War II era. Post-World War II, in Japanese tradition, most of the women were the ones who were the meal makers in the family, and they adopted this small plate and small type of food varieties which we discussed earlier, and they were living very healthy. But the men there used to smoke and drink a lot, and that was one of the main reasons why the women were living longer than the men. The average age of women were 87 and men was 80. But now even the men in Japan have started to adopt to healthier habits, and this age difference gap is bound to reduce. See, in all this we need to forget gender and all. If you live a healthy life and eat like how they eat, that is in small portions, not eating too much, and adopting a healthy life, walking a lot, having an active lifestyle, irrespective of the gender, you are going to live long. Also, Japan incorporates technology a lot. The government has also invested a lot in technology like fall detectors, where you can detect anybody falling when you are in office and your elderly parents are in home. Also, they provide exoskeletons. That is something which will help you to walk. These exoskeletons you can fit in your leg, and even when you are not able to walk, these exoskeletons will give you the strength to walk. There have been people who have lived up to 114 years using this exoskeleton. This is a powerful mix of tradition, that is your food eating habits, along with technology, which is helping people in Japan live longer, and this is something we need to learn. So, from all this, we realize that Japanese secret to longevity isn't a single factor but a combination of factors. The respect the society gives them, the sense of purpose they are having, the food patterns which they use, their movement patterns, the green tea which they drink, the government, how they are helping them with the screening programs. All this is providing a perfect cocktail for the Japanese people to live longer. Of course, we cannot adopt all this into our life immediately, but every step of the way in our life, we can start adopting each of these such that it will also help us live longer. See, the best time to plant a tree was over a century ago, which is the second best time. It is now. It is better late than never. And let's start incorporating at least one of these aspects into our everyday life, which will help us live longer. Do like, share, and subscribe me for more interesting videos.